Hello, this webinar is a part of a multi-part series on the Constitutional Commencement Day of April 30th. This particular webinar is a sermon on the commencement of the Massachusetts Constitution of Wednesday, October 25th, 1780. And it is an example of how sermons were preached on state constitutional commencement days and are representative of the thinking across the whole nation and prepare us to understand our U.S. National Constitution Day. So let's take a look at what I mean here. So there were 13 state constitutions that were in place before the national constitution was established in the United States. And on Constitution Days, sermons were preached. And in this case, Reverend Samuel Cooper preached before one of the most famous patriots of the day, John Hancock, the first signer of the Declaration of Independence and the first governor of Massachusetts. He also preached or present that day were all the Massachusetts House of Representatives and the state senators from that state as well, and this sermon was preached in the State House 9 years before the U.S. Constitution was commenced. A copy of the sermon can be found at christiancivicstraining.org. What I'm going to do for the next 4 minutes is provide a summary of the themes that were raised on this Constitution Day sermon of a 60-minute sermon length, but I'm going to summarize these points in 4 minutes in the format of phrases. Reverend Samuel Cooper summarized the themes in this way. God has worked on our nation's behalf in a similar fashion in which he dealt with the nation of Israel. We have been ungrateful and treated casually the things of God. Divine providence was guiding the whole endeavor of our national foundation. Human nature is flawed and can be greatly corrupted by unrestrained power. Government declares itself God, and when this happens, unrestrained government power will always intoxicate men. The characteristics of unrestrained government are these. It covets everything around it. It seeks to bring everything under its rule. It takes from productive citizens. It is proud and haughty. It destroys the rights of man. It destroys constitutions. It destroys justice. It enslaves bodies, and it debases minds. The Bible outlines 3 branches of government. The Hebrew Republic was a free republic. The covenant of Moses, God did not force his law on the people. The people freely adopted it, just as they were adopting the Massachusetts Constitution. Joshua renewed the covenant that was between the people, their leaders, and God. Joshua reminds the people of the blessings and sufferings that come from keeping or breaking civil covenants. Elected bodies required principled men. The Hebrew Republic provided maximum freedom, but the Hebrews got tired of the freedom and wanted to be like other nations and asked for a king. God endorses representative government, where leaders of character and wisdom are elected from amongst them. People are born free. Government is to protect freedom. Government secures rights and restrains evil. Constitutions are designed to restrain government power. Liberty takes blood to defend. Those in power will always try to bend or destroy the Constitution for their own purposes. Human nature is wicked and always seeks to grab power and control. The sin nature of man is to be remembered. The tendency of power is to corrupt. What can the righteous do when the wicked rule, says the Scriptures? The British tyranny had the opposite effect. Rather than colonies submitting to it, it caused them to rise up for liberty. This all occurred under God's providences at a special moment in time. This was the one unique time in world history where such a situation could have taken place. The American experiment was done with deep reflection on centuries of history and a review of governments past and present. The wisest and most virtuous men sought the deepest of wisdom for freedom. Our Constitution should be loved for the freedom it gained. Citizens are the depositors of their own liberties. Citizens must have character. Powers of government have checks and balances and limits. Public worship of God and virtues are immensely important for good society. The citizens of a free republic should reverence and protect their constitutions. May all citizens love it, and may the leaders have a double portion of love for it. Men elected need to be faithful and honest in their duties. God will hold leaders accountable for the oaths they take. Citizens need to keep their eye on those who govern. Usurpation, dishonesty, frauds, oppressions must be stamped out as soon as they appear. Do not let these errors grow uncorrected, or it will spread to the vital core of the government. Righteousness exalts a nation. Virtue is vital for a republic to operate. Lack of virtue will bring about destruction of a country. If fear of God is lost and love of country is lost, all is lost. The loss of fear of God will lead to tyranny. Education of youth is to teach piety, virtue, and liberty. Financial soundness makes a country strong. Christian character and honesty in office will establish our national character. If we fail to bring forth liberty and win this contest, the results for the world are bleak. Free societies depend on the character of its citizens. Citizens need to guard their liberties to prevent corruption. The United States needs to remember to keep its own power in bounds lest it be hated by other countries. America's purpose in the world is to help bring forth knowledge and liberty. This continent seems ordained to be a bastion of liberty, a refuge for the oppressed, a place for those who are worthy and good. A great cloud of witnesses looks down upon this sacred day, those who have fought for liberty and freedom through the ages. The Pilgrim Fathers, in fact, look down and exhort us on. Those are the summary of the themes that Reverend Samuel Cooper brought up in his sermon preached on October 25, 1780 at the State House for all the state elected officials of Massachusetts. I invite you to consider listening to a similar sermon from Samuel McClintock of New Hampshire of June 3, 1784, to gain further insight into these courageous clergymen and pastors as they taught biblically the concepts of civil government to the elected officials of that day. My name's Craig Seibert. Thanks for listening.